Hi guys, it's Mark from Burton Bibles, back with another video overview of a Bible, and this one is one that I've been particularly excited about for quite some time, and this is one that I've been talking about a little bit as well. This is the new CSB Diadem from Cambridge, and I've had this for a couple of weeks now. I've been reading it and getting to grips with it, and I've been really loving this Bible. So spoiler alert, it's definitely one that I like a lot. But this is a really interesting Bible, and one that I've been very interested to get hold of myself, and I've been talking to the team about it at Cambridge quite a bit. We've had some discussions about it, and in some of my trips down to Cambridge, we've sort of spoken about different details to do with this edition and what we might be looking forward to. So to actually get hands-on with it at last is a really great thing. Now, this one's of particular interest to me because, number one, I have actually started reading the CSB translation on a daily basis, and that's something that I started last summer. I featured the review of my Bible, the CSB He Reads Truth Bible, here on the channel last summer. And I started using it as a sort of a daily devotional, a daily journaling Bible, and it was single column, so I was getting to grips with single column Bibles a bit more. And all in all, I've been using it every day and absolutely loving it. Really like the translation and really like that particular Bible. So to know that Cambridge were bringing out a Christian Standard Bible was amazing, because that's a first for Cambridge. They've not done the CSB before, but I'm really loving this this Christian Standard Bible box. It's really quite cool. Loving the logo and the colours on the spine here. Really am a fan of it. And of course we've got the diadem sort of branding, if you like, on the cover there, as long as the CSB logos. So this is a first for Cambridge. They've not done a Christian Standard Bible before, and I'm hoping it's not the last either. And I have a little feeling it won't be. But I really like the diadem in general. I use my ESV diadem quite a bit, because the ESV is pretty much a second translation in our house as well. So here's my trusty ESV diadem. Loved it since it came out. Beautiful two-column, centre column references, Bible. And I love that enlargement of the Pit Minion as well, because the Pit Minion is such a good, proven typeface, lovely and clear, nice and crisp, digital, all line matched, beautiful presentation. Love the paragraph format for the poetic sections and things like that. And all in all, it's just a beautiful Bible. So to marry this with the CSB translation, one of my favourite, certainly my favourite contemporary English translation, shall we say, is a great thing. So I was really excited and looking forward to it. Now, I'll just show you the back of the box, which has got a text sample and also some publication information down there. So those of you who are familiar with the diadem, this will be fairly familiar, but as you will discover later on in my review, there are some unique things to do with this one. There are some interesting, nice little features that I've spotted, which I really like. And if you do read the CSB, some of those features will be familiar to you. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to one of my new favourite Bibles. This is the CSB Diadem Bible from Cambridge. And as soon as I bring it onto shot, and as soon as the team at Cambridge showed me this, they presented me with this when I went down there, they watched my face as I opened this box, and my face just lit up, because I had told them since we first spoke about this Bible last year that orange was something that I was very interested in, and lo and behold, here it is. So this is the colour that they're calling burnt orange, and I would agree with that. It's not a bright orange, it's not tangerine or anything. There is sort of a duller, browner, reddy quality to it, so it's giving it that nice burnt orange colour. And look at those ribbons as well, 3 beautiful burnt orange ribbons. Absolutely love this colourway, to be fair. Now, it is available in a number of other colourways as well. I also really like the blue that they've got. It's sort of almost like a royal blue, with blue ribbons and silver art gilt page edges, which is really cool. So Yeah, that works fantastically. But this was my favourite, and this was the one that I wanted to take away for my copy to review. It just appealed to me on so many different levels. And you take this Bible places and it gets noticed, people talk to you about it, and it gives you a great opportunity just to tell them something about Cambridge Bibles, something about the CSB translation and the Diadem in general, because it gets noticed. So really, really pleased with the way this one has come out. And of course it's stunning production qualities as well. We've got the familiar sort of calf skin, which is edge lined with that synthetic liner, which I really, really like. And the paper is that just fantastic quality Indopaque paper that we're now pretty familiar with seeing on the newer Cambridge editions that are produced by Youngblood there in the Netherlands. So absolutely fantastic production values. Now, it is the familiar Diadem typeface in the sense that it is the Lexicon #1 font, and that's 8.2. I think that is an 8.2 font, which is really legible and really readable, and you won't have any problems with that. And as you get into the Bible, there's the wonderful CSB logo on the front pages, which tells you what you're reading there, which is really exciting for me. So this is brand new, just published. It's published printed and bound in the Netherlands by Royal Youngblood, so there's no surprises there. But I think what we'll do now is we'll take this beautiful Bible down to the desk. I've actually got a new desk now with a separate stand set up. I've also got a new mic, so I hope you're enjoying more of the sort of personal here it is, I'll just show you it there. So more of a sort of a podcast mic, just so that you get a good sound quality when I'm doing more work right in front of the camera. So hopefully that's coming through nice and clear for you. So let's go down to the desk, get the top down angle, and see what this Bible has really got, because it's just absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to show it to you. So let's go. Okay guys, this is the beautiful new Cambridge Diadem in the CSB translation here in the flesh, and I'm dying to show it to you because I'm really excited about this Bible, and it really kind of surpassed my expectations when Cambridge showed me the product in the flesh just a couple of weeks ago. So here we are then. So it is a first for Cambridge, as I said in my intro video. First time they've done the Christian Standard Bible, hopefully not the last, and it's a brand new publication being published. I think it's tomorrow, which is like the Thursday, the 7th of March, I think. Absolutely beautiful. Now, for those of you who want to know all of the publication information, which I'm sometimes not great on with details, let's take a look at that on the inside page there and get a good look at it. So you'll see that it is the CSB Text, the 2020 edition, as it says there. So this is a fairly modern contemporary English translation, and it will tell you details there about the typeface details and the paper and the binding and all of those sorts of things. Now let's get into the Bible itself, because that's where I want to get to. So in this Bible at the beginning, you'll get a table of contents, you get the books of the Bible, you'll get a handy little chronology of rulers and kings, etc. in Bible times, a table of weights and measures, and you'll get your introduction to the Christian Standard Bible and some notes about their translation style. Now, for those of you who are perhaps not fully au fait with the CSB, the thing that the Christian Standard Bible translators sought to go after was something that they call optimal equivalence, which is trying to strike a balance between the sort of word-for-word, very literal translations of the Bible and the more sort of thought-for-thought, dynamic translations that you get. So those two ends of the spectrum, if you like, and they've gone for something somewhere in the middle. And I think they've been very successful in doing that. I do like this translation. I enjoy how it reads, and I feel that it is an easy-to-read translation without sacrificing accuracy and things like that. So I do quite like this translation, and very often it will give me a alternative rendering of something that I've read in the KJV or something like that, which really makes a lot of sense and gets the sense of the passage across. So into the Old Testament we go. And you'll see that this is what the page looks like. This is pretty familiar to those of you who perhaps bought the ESV translation. And I'll just quickly show you how similar they are in terms of comparison. There is the, there you go. Let's just get them side by side. So there's the ESV on the left and the CSB on the right. You'll see it's a almost identical, well, it certainly is an identical page layout, but it looks very, very similar. You'll see some subtle differences to how different things are presented, but largely they are extremely similar. You'll have the same cross-reference system where it's aligned to the right if it's on the right-hand side of the page, and it's aligned to the left as it is here if the cross-reference is from the left-hand side of the page. And then at the end of the page, in the footnotes, you'll see any footnotes, and they're generally translators' notes, alternative words and meanings and renderings, and also some translation information about manuscripts and different source materials, etc. But yeah, it's very, very familiar to us now. That is a beautiful typeface. I'm sure you'll agree. Let's just get a close look at it. So yeah, really clear 8.2 font as we just turn some pages for you so you can see the text layout and the way this reads. We've got no running headers across the top, but instead we've got chapter breakdowns, which is more of a more modern thing, I think, as opposed to the more traditional translations, which tend to put running headers across the top, like the Cameo, and I think the Turquoise does that, and others. So this is definitely it looks like a modern Bible. It's laid out clear, or there's no wasted space on these pages, as you can see. They really do make good use of the page. But this gutter, I always like the fact that the gutter is nice and clear on this particular Bible. We're not seeing words disappear into that gutter. And it's just absolutely stunning. I love the colours here that you can see. The orange with the reds and the gilt edges and the ribbons here at the bottom. It's just a beautiful looking Bible. And look how it's lying flat on the desk there. So that's literally open at Genesis chapter 17, 18, 19, and it's lying beautifully flat. And it will do that wherever you are in the Bible. In terms of in the hand, yeah, it's light enough. It's portable enough. It's not too big for you to think twice about taking to a meeting or on the go with you. And that's what I love about the Diadem. My CSB is quite chunky, as you know. It's I think it's over 2 inches thick at least, if not 3 inches. So it is quite heavy, it is quite big. It's one that I keep by my bedside and on my desk. This, however, is really portable. So absolutely love it. Love these bold chapter numbers. Love the bold on the font, on the cross references as well. Now, a couple of things as we move through this Bible in the Old Testament that I wanted to show you. In particular, when we come to the poetic sections, you'll see this absolutely beautiful page spread that we have here of the poetic sections in that sort of centrally aligned way that they do. And I just love these. I just love these pages because they just show you what's possible with good Bible design, because that's such a clear page, isn't it? Now, when we focus in on the footnotes, you'll see there that there's a few footnotes to note, and then there's a few footnotes to note there. That's where they are at the end, and you'll see lots of different word suggestions and what different manuscripts and texts are saying. So you'll see why they've arrived at the words that they've chosen. But in particular, when we're in the Psalms, what I thought I would show you is that the books of the Psalms are also demarcated for us, which is something that you will see in most Bibles. But I like the way the CSB does it, because in this version they've got Psalms 1 to 41 for book 1. If we flick briefly over to the ESV, and I'm going to get all my words in a muddle here, it just simply says book 1, as you can see. So we don't actually know how long book 1 goes on for, etc. But you'll see that we do have helpfully here Psalms 1 to 41, and then when we get to book 2, you'll see the next section is outlined for you. So I quite liked that. That was a nice little thing. Now, when we get to Psalm 119 as well, there's also a nice little difference between the ESV and I think the NASB as well. So when we come to Psalm 119, you'll notice this rather nice, just focus in there, it's rather nice, because it's an acrostic, and a Hebrew acrostic, with each section starting with a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. You can actually see the letters there, and they've chosen to do this nice bold type, and they've actually put the symbol of the letter there as well. So that's really cool. And if we hop over again to the ESV, you'll notice that that is one of the differences between this one and the ESV. So when we come to that, as I find it, the way they've decided to do it is like this. They've just put the word of the letter Gimel there without a symbol and without any sort of bold demarcation. But this is really quite nice, the way they've decided to do it. So I quite like that, and as we flick over, you'll see exactly what I mean. There's the page spread there, so you'll see the different sections are really nice and clear with those Hebrew letters on them. So really liked that. That was really cool. And then when we move over into the New Testament, there's an example of the red letter. So as you can see, it's quite subtle, and it's exactly the same. I haven't noticed any particular differences between editions with the there you go, there's an example of the ESV, and it's basically the same. But one of the things you'll notice with the CSB edition, and this is something that I like, when we come to Old Testament quotations in the New Testament, so for example, we were studying with the youth group Galatians chapter 3 the other day. We'll see a number of Old Testament quotations in Galatians chapter 3. Here we are. So there's one there, and there's one there, and there's some more here. This section in particular has got 3 or 4 sort of quotations from the Old Testament. You'll notice that they are in bold. So I quite like that. Now, they could have done it a different way. They could have, sort of separated it more obviously, or, for example, in the ESV version of the same, we will see when we come to Galatians chapter 3 that those Old Testament quotations are not as obvious, for sure. So when we come to verse 10 onwards, you'll notice that they are, well, they're just they're very easy to miss, aren't they? So that's something to notice, the difference between them. And this is something that the CSB does, because my He Reads Truth Bible is basically the same. It's got the Old Testament quotations in bold. I quite like that. Helps them stand off the page. It helps me realise straight away, for example here, when the Old Testament is being referenced, and that can be really useful as well. So rather than flicking to a marginal note where it tells you where that is found, straight away just by looking at the text as you're reading it, hang on, this is the Old Testament being quoted here. So that's a nice little feature as well. Another thing to note here is here in chapter 4, which I noticed as we were going through this section. You'll notice that where a chapter sort of falls, and we know that the chapter divisions aren't inspired, etc., but you'll notice that the chapter break comes in a section, in a paragraph, where the apostle is speaking about sons and heirs. So this chapter break is kind of a little bit in the middle of that. And in the ESV, it will still break for the chapter. So you'll notice when I access it here, you'll notice that chapter 4 still has a big chapter break, and it talks about sons and heirs. But in actual fact, it's talking about sons and heirs up here as well. So the CSB actually just shows you that this is part of the same section, but it is chapter 4 as well. So I quite like that. That's different. I like that. It's showing you that the section rolls across the chapters, and there are other examples of that happening as well. So that's another thing to notice with this nice little CSB diadem. And then the other thing that I was going to show to you, which is interesting again, is I'll just show you sort of the genealogies, because the genealogies are slightly different in the CSB as well. So in this Bible, the genealogies are are very obvious to spot because they do them like this. So this is centrally aligned, all sort of indented, if you like, and really easy to spot. And the same goes for Matthew chapter 1 as well, whereas you'll notice in the ESV diadem, they have decided to do it like this in Matthew chapter 1. So it's very much just a big block of text, doesn't stand out particularly at all, and it's probably quite difficult to read as a result. But the genealogies in the CSB are really nice and clear, which is quite nice. Now, one other thing that I was going to show you is the Concordance. And the Concordance I flicked to, and I was very interested in, because some of you will know on the channel I'm a big fan of a decent concordance in a Bible that you're going to take to church and to take around the place, because so often you'll be sat there in a gathering and you'll just be thinking about a verse and you'll be trying to find it. Now, I was initially disappointed with this concordance. I mean, you can see that already just by looking at this page that there's not many references per word, shall we say. However, that sort of evaporated, because as I looked at the concordance closer, and I believe this is the sort of the standard CSB concordance that you'll find in most CSB Bibles, as I looked at it, I was actually more encouraged, because I sort of counted the words across a few pages and averaged them out, and then times it by the number of pages, and there are a lot of pages to this concordance, by the way. I arrived at, there's in excess of 4,000 words in the concordance. Now that is a very healthy word count. And I looked at other versions, and in particular I referred to my ESV diadem, and the ESV diadem concordance has about 3,000 entries. So this has probably over 1,000 more words than the ESV concordance. Now, as far as verses per word go, this definitely seems lighter. So, for example, the ESV concordance has 14,000 scriptures across those 3,000 entries. So you're looking at, well, nearly 5 references per word, and you'll notice that some of these are just sort of 2 and 3, just so you know anyway. But there are some really nice things to notice about this. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering about the New American Standard Version, if you look at the Pit Minion, of which the diadem is an enlargement of, the NASB concordance has even less words. That has just 1,500 words, 1,577 words in that concordance. So this has nearly 3 times as many words in. So there you go. That's just something to think about. But there are some nice features in this concordance as well. For example, you'll notice that Abraham and Absalom here, they are 2 characters, 2 names, 2 people, and you'll notice that instead of just listing a load of references, which would be fairly useless when you're looking at things to do with Abraham, it's actually got a bio. So it's got a little written bio, and there's a load of scriptures referenced about major events in his life. Same goes for Absalom. If we look on this page, there's Adam, there's Ahaziah, there's Ahaz, and they are presented as bios. So there's a little zoom in for you there, Ahasuerus there as well. And I think that's really cool. I like that. So that's, again, something different. The ESV version doesn't do that. So this is something peculiar to the CSB diadem. So really like that feature to do with this concordance. So yeah, initially I was disappointed, but then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, actually, this is a really healthy concordance, and we've got some really nice features in there. Now, in the back, you're going to get your 15 Cambridge Bible maps, again in full colour, nice sort of glossier cardstock there. They're really nice maps they are, and we can see them across the Cambridge range now, and it's a really good addition. 15 of them, which is a nice healthy number. So I think that this Bible is fantastic. I just think it is. I think it's well thought out. I think it's well designed. I think the CSB translation is a really good, sound and solid modern English, contemporary English translation. So if you are looking for that easier to read translation, perhaps you're younger in the faith, perhaps you're younger in age, perhaps English isn't your first language, perhaps you struggle with reading normal Bibles and you need that text to be as easy to read as possible. I certainly read the CSB, as I've said, every day as my devotionals, as my journaling Bible. I haven't studied with the CSB, but certainly I've done my usual sort of, I don't know what I would call it. You know, if you have a thought and then you develop it, it's kind of study, but it's more sort of comparing scripture with scripture, linking things together, spotting things, things like that, preparing simple sort of thoughts, simple meeting outlines. I've done that level of study with the CSB, and it's been absolutely fine. A really good companion for your sort of study arsenal. But in terms of what I'm going to use this for, and maybe this is where this Bible will fall, is this is going to be my go-to take into meetings, portable style, personal Bible. So that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to take it around. I'm going to have it wherever I need to use a Bible, basically. This fits all boxes. It ticks all of the boxes. It's not hard to read. The Pit Minion certainly is a bit more hard to read, and you'd have to think twice about taking that to certain environments. This is a Bible I can read in any light without my readers. And it's a translation that I love, and it's a format that I love by a publisher that I love, so it basically is one of my favourite Bibles now. So there you go, end of review. But no, really, really love it. This is going to be listed on the Burton Bibles website, so you can buy one and support the channel by going to burtonbibles.com and ordering one there. This is on general release as of the time this video goes live, so you can get yours. It is available, as I said, in a blue calfskin leather, and it will also be available, I think there's a brown and a black as well. So, and there's 2 calf split options, and I think they are black and red, like a cherry red colour. So you've got 2 calf splits and 4 calf skins, I believe. So there you go. There's something for everybody there. And if you're brave like me and want something a bit different, you'll be going for this orange. So come on, let's get the orange army out, and let's really promote these Bibles, because they are absolutely awesome. So I hope you found that review interesting. I know I've waffled on a bit, but it was always going to be like this because it's something that I've been excited about for a long time. So that's it. It's the new CSB Diadem from Cambridge Bibles. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and please share the content, and try and support us any way you can. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch up on another video soon. Bye-bye.